All right. Home Squad Sports got a game day preview here, week 8. Everything that we need to know for going into this week's games. Got games starting up here at noon. Dalton, how you doing this morning?
Doing good, man. Ready to watch these games. Another full slate. It's a great weekend again.
I know it's good. We're getting in the thick of it, man. About to get some good chili coming in. It's about to be chilly weather here soon. Bonfire weather, all that good stuff wherever you are in the country. It don't get too much better than this. We got most of these teams that got like their identity pretty much and what we're gonna see, and we'll be able to get into it. And hopefully, some of these teams will maybe surprise us. But let's go ahead and get into the week 8. We've already got one of the games that got done last night with the Florida State Duke game. I mean, Duke able to keep it rolling. Only one loss on the season. Malik Murphy at quarterback there. I mean, he's freaking balling. He's from Texas there. And we all had questions about Manny Diaz and Malik Murphy coming in, kind of second shots for both of them, with Manny Diaz being the head coach at Miami previously. So, I mean, did you think that, everything expected here? Did you expect Duke to win on this one?
Yeah, I did. Florida State's just they're terrible, man. I don't know how you can fall off that much in a year. Really, it's kind of amazing. I love it because I got this on the chest. But besides that, Duke is looking good. Manny Diaz got that defense balling, man. They got a top 25 defense in the country. All he needed was a second shot in the ACC. It looks like, and he's going to make them pay. Looks like a good hire for Duke and Florida State. They need a quarterback bad. And if they have three terrible quarterbacks right now, you can't win with that.
No, I know. I totally agree. I mean, yeah, they got to do something. I said on last podcast, like they just had maybe like a bad free agent signing. Like I don't
Yeah,
know. I mean, you really have to look at it like that. I mean, we can go ahead and go to last night's games here. This is last night's games, nothing crazy. I mean, but we do want to, put in that Duke there, Florida State that was on our top 6. So they was able to get out, with the win 16-23. I mean, yeah, like I said, Florida State they're not looking good, man. I mean, it's just not looking good for Mike Norvell. He's on the hot seat. We got our hot seat list out, and he's definitely on it. He's I don't know, but a lot of people think with the buyout and with last season, they were good last season, but do you think they'll actually get rid of him this offseason?
I don't think you. I don't think you should just because you go undefeated. You go undefeated the year before, man. You got to get some credit for that. That should have some carry some weight to me. I know if
Yeah.
I was, I know I would be. I mean, I might have a different opinion if it was my team and we're 1-5, but consider it's not. I think you got to give him another year and see what he can build next year.
Yeah.
Because he had it, he had it coming up before this year, man. So it could just be a bad year, or it could be a sign of things to come. You never really know until you give him another chance. That's the risky part.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, I would get rid of him just because unless you got a great quarterback coming in, we'll look at recruiting classes here in a second. I don't know how high they are in, the recruiting classes. I assume they'll go ahead and try to, get the portal going. But
Yeah,
what do you think their next step is? I mean, obviously we can't predict what their next quarterback's going to be, but do you think they go portal or do you think they go high school? Like, what do you think they should do, like specifically at quarterback?
they got a big time freshman in there, Croman Hoke. They played him a little bit last night, but he didn't look good at the end. But he's a freshman. He's a freshman. A lot of freshmen don't look good in power football. It's hard
Yeah.
to play as a freshman quarterback. You need a redshirt year, really. So I can't blame him. Maybe if he looks good this offseason, they have a quarterback already on the team, then that changes a lot, especially when it comes to looking at Norvell's future. See if we can build this quarterback. If not, then you got to give him the boot. But it's just tough to fire him after 1 year after undefeated. I know, but I don't know how many games they're going to end up winning. If they win one game, then yeah, he's probably fired for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's hard. I mean, yeah, you're right. Maybe like next season, it'll be really thin ice. Maybe like a mid-season firing if they start off like even remotely like this next season. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't know if they'll go for a big guy maybe through the transfer portal just to maybe play it safe, quote unquote safe, because you can't play it safe, man. There's no playing it safe in football and especially high level college football like this. So yeah, Duke's able to get the win. I mean, only one loss on the year. Nobody expected this. We have so many undefeated teams still. I mean, so many. I mean, I'll add you in here, but We got the game of the week as well with Texas and Georgia we want to go over. And we just want to go over quite a few things, but we still want to stay on that top six and go ahead and get into it. So, I mean, undefeated teams. We're going to see somebody slip up again. We don't know when. We thought a couple of these teams were going to lose a long time ago, but we got Nebraska and Indiana at noon as well, about to kick off here in less than an hour. What do you think right now? We're going to get our official picks here. Obviously, Duke and Florida State's done, but what is your official pick here going into Nebraska and Indiana?
I love this game. It should be really fun, you know. Indiana, I'm excited to see what their crowd's like in the biggest game they've had in God knows how long. So I'm excited to see their crowd today. And I like this matchup for IU, man. Nebraska's very one-dimensional on offense. They can't run the ball, and Indiana's going to score points. So if you can get Rayola as a freshman into a pass-only, drop-back game, they're really gonna have a tough time keeping up with IU's offense because they have Curtis York, man. Right now,
He's a
he's got to be in
baller.
your Heisman conversation, which is crazy to say, but
You are
not
crazy
top
for
two,
saying
not
that.
top three, baby, but fifth or sixth in the Heisman race right now. And if he can keep him undefeated, there's crazier things have happened.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, yeah, fifth or sixth, sure, but I mean, I just feel like it's not a fifth or sixth, five or six horse race right now. I feel like we're pretty much down to our last two or three, but I know, I mean, you got to at least consider him because this team's freaking winning. Dylan Gabriel, you're going to have to consider him because their team's winning, and if we'll go into that because Dylan Gabriel and them was able to get the win there as well over the weekend there coming in. So I mean, very cool, man. I mean, I think we have a lot of great games today, but with Nebraska and Indiana, I mean, I don't have really an exact score, but go ahead and give me Kurt Signetti with the Hoosiers, but who are you taking here?
Yeah, same thing. Like I just said, I don't trust Nebraska's offense enough to keep up with IU. Man, they scored 40 points every game this year, third in the country in scoring. Until somebody stops them, you can't assume somebody's going to. So you got to see it be done first. So yeah, I'm going with Indiana too, man. They win this one 7-0. Hoosiers rolling.
Hoosiers rolling. Hoosiers rolling. They're trying to
Never
keep it
thought I'd say
rolling.
that in football. Like never.
And that's the best part about it, bro. Like, it's the best part about this transfer portal and everything with it. Like, it's just the best. Like, Indiana's never been good since we've been alive. Like, literally since we've been alive, they have not been good, right? I mean, that's just the
I mean,
fact.
that 1 year with Penix, they're 9-3 or something. But let me get a shout out to Signetti real quick. When he hired, I heard something about. He said, "Just give me even average resources here, and I'll be able to win." And the AD heard that, and he was able to get them to, boosters and everything. They were able to get 5 or 6 mil in NIL, and he was only expecting about 3. So they're if they do that this year before they saw a good team, imagine how much NIL they can get coming in next year. So maybe I use a sleeping giant in football.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't. I think it's going to be so hard for them to keep, bro. Like for them to keep Kurt Signetti. I mean, Kurt Signetti is on our coach of the year list here. I mean, we're very very excited here. I know we weren't able to go over it together here last time, but we were able to go over it now. We got Kurt coach of the year with Kurt Signetti leading the top, in my opinion. I don't really have this in any order, but I just think it's coincidence. I do have him at 1 right now, and then we got Brian Newberry at Navy and Jeff Monken at Army. I mean, this is just great for the country. I mean, come on. I mean, it's the no, like you said, we don't expect Indiana to be good, but we sure as hell don't expect Navy and Army to be good ever. I
Yeah.
mean, like we just respect them. We knew growing up they run the option. They're a hard beat. You gotta show up, but we'd never expect them to compete for natties or compete for a playoff spot.
No, it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. I love it.
I mean, out of all these coaches, obviously we have Pat Narduzzi with Pitt. I think he's the safest as like finding his home. I think he will be there for at least a few years. I think that's a good fit for them. And then last night, we have Kalani Sataki who with BYU who got the really big win that we are going to go over. I mean, huge win. We'll go ahead and mention it. I mean, 35-38, absolute game. I mean, just absolute game. It was really fun to watch, man. I mean, last game of the drive, like a minute 23, they were able to get it in. And we do have the last drive we're going to watch here. Let's go ahead and get into it while we're talking about it here. So, but while I'm bringing that up, I mean, any thoughts from the game? I mean, BYU was down and out. It was over, right? I mean, it was over for them. But I mean, what's the biggest thing and biggest takeaways, I guess, from the game? What'd you see out of BYU?
They didn't quit, man. Simply put, they just kept playing. They never seemed like they were out of it. Even when they gave up that late touchdown, their offense rallied real quick. Like they weren't even worried about it, man. I respect this team a lot right now. They didn't play their best game. you're not always going to play your best games. They played the best games 3 weeks in a row, so eventually you're going to have a little stinker. And as long as you can still win it, that's acceptable. I love this defense. This was the worst game they played all year, but I mean, look at this. They're throwing trick plays and stuff to beat them. That's what they got to do. That's what you got to do to try to beat BYU now. Apparently, is do trick plays. So shout out Kentucky, man. If you're running trick plays in fourth quarter, uh, you got something going on there.
I know, man. It was so fun. I mean, it was so fun. I had some money on this game. So obviously, I was chomping at the bit. But we seen Ollie Gordon, who is coming into the year, the best back in the nation. All this hype coming in. He didn't really have a breakout performance, but God, I mean, you can't say that again. Damn, he went off yesterday, absolutely putting the team on his back. He got injured, coming back in. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, with Ollie Gordon, he had a 16 carries, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a 50-yard run. He's averaging 6.7 a carry, which we kind of make light of that because Ashton Jinty's freaking getting so many yards a carry. But I mean, he had a great game. And
Yeah,
you
great
see
game.
here the last drive of the game here, a minute and 12 going in. We got 18 seconds as they throw the game-winning touchdown here.
What a
Oklahoma
play.
State got the ball back with about 10 seconds left, and obviously they weren't able to get it done. Their starting quarterback for this game, Garrett Rangel, who is starting in place of Alan Bowman, who got benched. He got hurt, so he hurt his shoulder and had to come out for the game. And then they, put in Alan Bowman and try to keep him mobile because he's a pocket quarterback. So they were trying to keep him mobile and stick to what they've been running that game and what's been working. But I mean, it just was too much. And for BYU there, they were just so poised and just so like they weren't playing like they were down and needed a game-winning touchdown. I watched the post-game interview with Kalani Sitake, and he was really just calm and laid back, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like I know, like this didn't go how we wanted it, but we got a good team, and I know we're gonna grow from this." So anytime you can grow from a win, it's always good. And I mean, shout out to BYU. Oklahoma State, had really high expectations, in my opinion. I mean, the highest expectations they've had in some years. But do you think it's another flop job just by talent and injuries, or do you think this is more of a coaching with Gundy?
3-4. 0-4 in the Big 12. That's crazy, man. Gundy might be past his prime, man. He's never, when's the last time he's been really good? Freaking Brandon Whedon, man.
Right, and I
It's
think
been
he had those. He had two absolute stud wide receivers, and he had Des Bryant back then. Then he went and he got Justin Blackman. They were really good receivers, right? And then he hasn't really had any studs since then. Quarterback's been real iffy. I mean, it's so crazy because you got SEC teams, these big schools, and Big 12 teams, kind of the lower tier of those conferences, like UK, Kentucky with SEC, or an Oklahoma State, in the Big 12. They just haven't had good quarterbacks. It makes no sense. You haven't had a bona fide great quarterback. I know they're hard to come by. And you're a Florida fan. You all have been trying to find your guy for the past couple of years, and it's hard to do. It's hard to do. And yeah, coaches go their whole careers trying to find their quarterback and never find him, right? I mean, but you would think they would just have a little bit more grasp, or exhausting all resources to kind of get them a good quarterback. But I mean, do you think they'll have a good future, down the road with or without Gundy? I mean, or they're just always going to be kind of middle of the pack?
I don't think they have much NIL money, honestly. I don't think. I know it's not a huge city, I'm not sure there's a lot of appeal to go there unless something
Yeah.
else, unless they get a new coach or something. So I mean, I think they'll always be where they are. About 6-6, 7-5. Just a solid program, but nothing to write home about ever. It's like I said, it's been a long time since they've been a championship contender. They've had some good years here and there with Mason Rudolph. They had a couple
Hmm.
good years with him. That's about it, man. I don't like their team. I don't like them. I don't like their program anymore. I think they're kind of just left behind.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It sucks to say that because it's like they got the branding. They're called the Cowboys. They have a great pageantry.
Great
They've
jerseys.
always had great jerseys. I mean, it all sets up, and all the stage is set for them to have a very competitive program each year, and every year it just doesn't happen. Um, I don't know. I think they're going to have to get a change of face there, get somebody in new. I think that Mike Gundy's been he's been stealing money from them. Honestly, I can't believe he must have something on the AD.
I have some dirt.
He's got some dirt on the AD. But we're getting through our top six as we progress and kind of touch back on the week that's been so far. Us having to kind of adjust to this new schedule with Fridays and
All
Thursdays and
kinds of Friday games now, man.
Tuesday college football. I mean, we're everywhere, and it couldn't be any better. We wouldn't have it any other way. So we got Duke obviously winning, and then we have both are picking there, Kirk Cignetti and Indiana Hoosiers to beat Matt Rule in Nebraska, Dylan Raiola. I mean, I think nobody expected two big things out of Dylan Raiola this year, but I think they were expecting a little bit more.
He's
Maybe
playing
not.
efficient ball, man. He's playing efficient. He's
He's
just not
good.
explosive yet, but I don't think they got the receivers.
Yeah, and I think that I feel a lot. I think Tennessee and Nebraska are very similar in teams. Honestly, like there's not too much, having them as a difference. But Tennessee gets way more love than Nebraska, which I kind of don't get
It's because they look good
because,
against NC State, bro.
but they have both of these two quarterbacks that are supposed to be generational, Nico and Rayola, and you would think that they would kind of judge them the same, but I don't think they have. I think Nico he just gets the benefit of the doubt every week.
Rayola's playing better than him. Honestly,
He is. He is.
Nico's
Because
getting
he's a better.
carried, bro. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and talk too much crap because they beat us, but we should have won. So we should have freaking won the game. Um, so they're not that Tennessee's not that good. If you lose at home to Florida this year, which they should have, you're just not that good of a team. Plain and simple, bro. I wish I could say something. I wish I could say we're really good. We should have won.
Yeah.
No, we're not that good. Um, we shouldn't have even been in that game. Tennessee was favored by 14.5, which I
Yeah.
said was crazy. But Nico is just not that good. That's why they're not that good. If Nico was a baller, Tennessee would be great because they got the best defense they've had under Heupel this year.
Yeah, this is the best coached Tennessee team we've seen in a long time, and I think maybe that's why they give them love. But I just don't see Nico being a guy that the all the other players rally around. He's not. You don't have to be a hoorah guy like a Russell Wilson and be extra like that, but you gotta say, come on guys, let's go, let's get on the drive here, let's get it, and pat your O line on the butt, pat your receiver on the head, and like, come on, we're gonna go get this first down, we're gonna go get this touchdown. I don't see that from him. He's just kind of a passenger. Yeah, he's the quarterback, but he doesn't act like a quarterback, I think, and he doesn't. They just don't rally around him. I think they're like, all right, this is our millionaire quarterback. He can throw 3 picks. He's probably going to stay in. I mean, there's just so much invested in him. But yeah, we'll go ahead and move on from that game. And like I said, I hope Nebraska maybe get, or at least they just start getting judged the same because they're pretty similar. And but all right, we'll go ahead and move on from that. We both got Indiana. Now it comes to the really big game that most of the nation's scared of this week, and they're saying this is the trap game of the week with Miami coming into Louisville. I think this game could be a 2-possession game if they tighten it up. Miami, I don't think they're going to. I think it's going to be a close game. Everybody's staying away. I think everybody's saying Louisville's got too easy of a spread with like 6.5, depending where you got it. But I got the Canes, obviously. I think they're going to win. I got, this is a part of my big ticket this week. I think Cam Ward's, he's been, Miami, they've been messing up for 2.5 quarters, and then he just, he comes alive and saves his team. He's not going to be able to get away with that this year, or this week. But I think he's still going to just play a full game. I think he's going to play a complete game. But what are you thinking about Miami versus Louisville here?
Man, it should be a great game. I've been going all week. I've been going back and forth all week. Honestly, I like Jeff Brom in the situation. I don't like him on a typical week. You know how I feel about him. I always thought he was really overrated. Great coach because there's a lot of great coaches, but he's not as good as everybody thinks he is.
Yeah.
He'll get upset every year, but then he'll lose the teams he also ain't supposed to. So Louisville, like I said, Jeb Brom's good for these one every year, man. He did it at Purdue against Ohio State and Michigan. He did it last year against Notre Dame. So watch out for Louisville for sure, but I just can't pick them, man. Something about this Miami team, it's like they're a team of destiny, which I hate. I hate to say that shit for sure.
Yeah.
But they're really good, man. They can't beat them. The refs are on their side. Virginia Tech game, you can't. Oh,
They were. No, they
everybody
were.
said that was inconclusive.
That was a crazy call.
You got to
That was
save the call on the field there. And then the Cal game, that's just a great comeback. But come on, Cal, bro. If anybody from Cal's watching this, y'all fucking suck, man. 38-10, bro, in the second half. But that's what I'm saying. If they fall behind like they did against Virginia Tech or Cal today, they're not going to come back and win because that Louisville has the ball control offense. They can run. They got 4 running backs. They can feed and keep them fresh. And they just don't make mistakes a lot when they're up. They don't make mistakes. They're a good coach team. And Tyler Shuck, not the best, but he's not mistake prone either. So I like Louisville keeping it really close, man. And if they get a couple things go their way, maybe a fumble here, a fluke fumble, something like that. then they can come out with the win. But I got to go with Miami. I got to go with Miami to take it.
Yeah, I agree, and obviously because I do have some money on him, but I just think with Tyler Shuck at quarterback, he's just not dynamic enough, and Miami's D line is pretty solid. It's not the U back in the day what we're like used to seeing, but it's nothing to turn your head at either. They do have a good D line. They have some
Mhm.
solid DBs. They just have such a high powered offense, number one offense coming in, number one offense in the nation coming into the game. They're on the road. They are honoring Teddy Bridgewater, a former Louisville quarterback there and Miami native. So I think they're trying to spice that in there to trying to get the crowd going and get some luck on their side with a Miami native. And they don't call it a jersey retirement anymore. They call it, what do they call a jersey ceremony? Like, just retire the jersey. Like, they get 99 freaking numbers. Just retire the dude's jersey. Like, forgot Louisville got all these amazing quarterbacks, and
Right.
they got 80,000 NFL quarterbacks. They have Lamar and Teddy Bridgewater. That's it. And if you really
They
want to count Brian Braun, but he didn't do too much. He's up in the booth at being OC. So
definitely count Unitas, but that was a long time ago.
yeah. His is already retired. His is already retired.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
he's had
saying.
it. He's had that
Yeah,
statue
they
there forever.
just retire 8, retire 5, and just move on with it. I mean, come on. There's a lot of numbers here. And just say you retire in the jersey. And I actually got a bone to pick with my Gonzaga Bulldogs in basketball. We did the same thing with Adam Morrison. They didn't retire his jersey. They did a jersey ceremony. Like,
Wow.
man, don't wear number 3. Don't ever put
Now,
on number 3 again.
now that's crazy because I mean, y'all never won a title or anything. He was the player that really put you on the map. After Stockton did, but a little bit. But yeah, the team wasn't that good. It was just John Stockton was good. He's the one that really put you on the map, man. So that is disrespectful a little bit. I feel you. I feel
It's a
that.
cold world. It's a cold world out here, man. But we'll stay on topic here with the game. I mean, I think Miami's going to be able to get it done. They can't be sloppy, like you said. They cannot come out sloppy. They can't have heroics at the end. They're going to have to stay disciplined. Like you said, with the great running back tandem that Louisville has, their ends and their linebackers are going to have what they call good gap integrity. Staying solid, not falling for reads, not falling for the little stuff that gets you beat or dumb penalties that shoot yourself in the foot. If they can do that, they can win. Now that's a recipe for success for most teams. Penalties, staying
Yeah, that's
disciplined, and,
true.
and going 100%. It's pretty cliche, but guess what?
Hater.
It's cliche because it's true, and I think that they can win. Um, When's the last time Louisville's beat a top 5, top 10 opponent at home or at all? Like they don't get those really big wins. I love Jeff Brom. He's a local guy. He's just a hometown hero and a favorite, but I've just seen him get out coached too many times with little stuff, with situational, with clock management going into the half, or just going for it on fourth down when you haven't got barely you're getting third down conversions the whole drive, and then you go for it on 4th and 3 out of the gun. Like, just some dumb
Yeah,
shit I've seen.
yeah.
Just some dumb shit, man. And I can't put it all on him because all these coaches are running 4th and 1 out the gun, and I don't know. I think we'll get some more analytics in there, and they'll switch that up here soon. But I do like the Canes here, so it kind of wraps up for our first half of the top 6, which we're really excited about, but which leads us into Michigan, Illinois. I do have this as an underdog pick. I got Illinois at +4. I obviously rode that. I think they're going to do great. I had a great stat that kind of put me over the edge. I'm like, all right, I'm putting my money on it, and we're rocking with Illinois. And that stat is Michigan. They've only had I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna see if we can get your expertise on it. How many snaps in the red zone do you think Michigan has had this season?
Oh man.
Total.
Definitely not a lot. I'm trying to think here. A lot of their, I know, I was thinking of the USC game. All their touchdowns are real far out. Khalil Mullings. It's the only game I really watched them play because they suck. They're not fun to watch this year. They
No,
just
they're not.
how many? How many? Are
11. They've had 11 snaps out
you
of the whole
kidding?
season in the red zone. 20 or closer inside the R line. 11 snaps.
That's insane.
Yeah, I think that right there, that told me, I'm like, you know what? Illinois is not a soft team. We've seen this Illinois team when you think they're down and out, they come back and win. But Brett Bielema, as head coach over there, he's getting his feet set in there. And Champaign, I think he's kind of found his home there. And I got Illinois. I think they're going to win. But if you're going to put your money where your mouth is, I would just have them covering just to kind of play it safe. I do like to gamble, but I don't like to just put out crazy stuff out there. So I would like to put them points if you're a betting person. You got some time to put that in. Got obviously that's not until 3:30 slate. If you wanted to parlay that with the couple of these early games. So yeah, I mean Illinois. I mean with Michigan having shaky quarterback situation, their passing game is not great. You can't, you don't have to be an air raid offense, but you have to pass it a little bit. But with that little stat I just gave you in there, does that change, what you think about the game at all?
Not really. I already could just be only because I already knew their offense wasn't good.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, that's it is crazy stat. I would have guessed at least like 30. I mean, it's still not a lot. 30 ain't even a lot. 11's
Yeah,
crazy. That's only like you can. So if you start on the 20 and get a first down on 3 plays, that's already 3 plays, bro. And you run 3 more. Like that's 6 already in one
I
drive.
know. I
So that's
know.
crazy. But no, I was already picking against them. I was already picking Illinois. But I'm not too confident after last week, man. Their defense got put 49 points by Purdue.
I
What
know. And
happened
that was
there? Was that a flash in the pan, you think? Or
well, and that's a good point that you're bringing up because we just had Purdue get shut out last night by Oregon. I mean,
exactly.
it was crazy. It was 21-0 in the first quarter. So I mean, they lost last night 35-0. Oregon to kind of stay, in the conversation and of the national title contender. That's your national championship pick right now. I think they are looking good right now, man. They're playing at closer to their ceiling than just about anyone in the country. So I do like that, and I don't mean that as a knock. I don't mean that as in they have a short ceiling. I just mean that they are trending towards peaking. Right
Next
now. I
couple
mean,
weeks, yeah, man.
yeah, they're not going to have to wait until the last few weeks of the season to get it going. They're going to be looks like they're going to be entering the playoffs rolling, rolling, rolling.
I mean, that Ohio State win was impressive, and they actually outplayed them way more in the score. Man, they left a lot of points on the field if you paid attention to that.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't watch the game just because I was stressing so much about last night's game with Duke and and BYU obviously. So BYU was able to save my soul there last night. But yeah, I mean, I'm going with Illinois too, man. I think Michigan. I think the scandal last year or this year, if you want to, whatever you want to say, with the spying and with the whatever sign stealing. I think that plays a part, man. I think that I played O line and I love O line coaches, but with their head coach now, he's a former O line coach, and I don't know how confident I am in that being your head coach. Maybe I don't know. Maybe in them just being nitpicky, and I just don't like Michigan, but I just don't think they just got it right. I mean, they're coming off this storied run that they had with Harbaugh, and they were trying to keep it going, keep all the outside noise, at bay. But I just think Michigan is just not a powerhouse this year. Doesn't mean next year they can't be. But when you're coming off a championship year, man, it's hard to replicate that, especially with a new
New
coach.
coach.
You're right. It's hard, man. So give me a line eye. I will take the money line. I think that is going to be a great game. It's actually going to be a great game. Some old school football there, and a lot of third down attempts there. But go ahead and give me a line eye. So as we're moving into our last two games, which are some SEC bouts, SEC head to head. I mean, big boys
What
here.
game? What are some games here?
It's great, man. I mean, we do have our game of the week coming up, but we'll do a quick wrap up as we get to these last two. Me and you got Duke, which obviously we hit on. Duke over Florida State, Indiana, Nebraska. We've got Indiana. Then we got Miami and Louisville. Miami trying to keep their championship hopes alive, and we both got Miami. And then Illinois, Michigan. We just went over. We have Illinois. So it's great, man. As we go into this game, it's hard. These last two are kind of our finalists for game of the week. Very hard to choose. I mean, Alabama with Kalen DeVore trying to keep the momentum going, what Saban had, and we've never seen a defense this bad in Bama. I said this last stream, we've never gone into a game where we're like, okay, we know Bama's going to give up some points, right? But we just never said that, right?
No, yeah, it's been a while for sure. Probably since '06, '07.
And who was that coach before Saban? The real dark haired guy.
Shula.
Mike Shula. Yeah. And then he went to did they now did him and Saban switch jobs? Did he go to the Dolphins and then did
No,
Saban?
he was I think he was there before.
Okay, because Shula was at the Dolphins. Nick Saban was obviously at the Dolphins and then left them high and dry. A lot of people, I'm a big Saban guy, but they don't talk about how he exited the Miami Dolphins like that. But yeah, I mean, Saban's obviously on game day. He's a great addition to it, and hopefully he gives them a little sprinkle of good luck because we got Tennessee who's coming off a really close win. Like you said, I think they should have lost that game against your Florida Gators. Nico, he's a really shaky quarterback right now. I think he's a great quarterback in the making. He's going to be a great quarterback. He's going to be, but he's just not right now. Now, if this was Saban team, dead in the water, Bama by 10, right? But with Kalen DeVore here and a new helm and new regime in, they're gonna try to steal one, and I don't think it's too far fetched. A lot of people are taking Tennessee, but I think a lot of people are just taking the a lot of people took Nevada last night.
Taking the
I
home
mean,
team.
yeah, I mean a lot of people are just I don't know. I just feel like the people that cover 30, 40, 20 games, they just don't get to look into them too much as they think they do or, as they once did. And I just think people are overlooking a lot of stuff with Tennessee, how they're just not like that yet, right? I mean, Rocky Top, you
They're not
want to
good yet,
go?
really.
They're just not good
They're
yet.
solid, but they're not amazing. Yeah.
They're not amazing, but that's what's so crazy is you don't need to be amazing to beat Alabama in 2024, which is wild. You had to play a perfect game against Alabama. You had to get lucky. You had to have some Chad Kelly and Ole Miss with the ball bouncing and
Oh
deflection.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
mean, Auburn, Alabama, you had to have a kick
Pick
six
six,
return. I mean,
Denzel.
crazy. Menzel throwing for 400 and just, crazy plays. Crazy shit has to happen for you to beat Nick Saban in Alabama, but it's not at Nick Saban in Alabama no more. So it's hard. I really think this is going to be a great game. Jalen Milroe, this is a look in the mirror game for him. And what are you going to do? You can put up some great stats even when you take that loss or even when it's a closer game. He still puts up pretty good stats. I mean, I think he's going to look in the mirror and say, F those stats. I'm putting the team on my back. I think they're good. He's going to have a lot of third down conversions on his feet. I think he's pretty much on the feet, on the ground. He's going to be the make or break. But what are you really looking at this game, and what are you looking for?
I'm looking to see which team plays good this week. How about that? Both these
Yeah,
teams played terrible the last 2 weeks.
it's that
Even
simple.
even in victory, Alabama. I mean, they lost to Vandy. Of course, that's
Yeah,
the worst they played in 20 years, probably.
yeah,
Worst
yeah.
game in 20 years, which is crazy. And then Tennessee should have lost to us, and they lost to Arkansas. So these last 2 weeks, man, I have no confidence picking either team right now. To me, it's a toss up. Tennessee's at home, which helps out, but it didn't really help them last week, and that was a rivalry game too. They hate Florida's guts, and they still did. They're supposed to beat us by a lot, man. And the Arkansas game, really, they scored 14 points that game. Then they scored 23 last week in OT. I don't think they had the offense to keep up with Milroe now that I really think about it. So I'm going to go Bama here. I love their offense, Ryan Williams. I think their defense does enough this week for sure to maybe get a 10-point lead at some point, maybe even 13, because I just don't like Tennessee's offense, man. I'm not a believer in them. They did good against NC State and what have you, but as soon as they got in conference play, Florida's defense has been terrible this year, and they couldn't move the ball on us or Arkansas. So as soon as they got an SEC play, they seen big dogs coming on defense, and Nico is shriveling up a little bit.
Glad you said that because that's kind of was put me over the top with this game. Is that Arkansas game? Arkansas is good. They ain't that good, right? I was looking at every
Average.
game. I was looking at every game last night they played, both teams. I'm like, where is this slip up at? Where is this going to tell me where to go? Right? I'm looking between the lines. I'm looking for signs in the sky, and I found it. It was that Arkansas game. The Arkansas is not that great. They're disciplined, like we said. They wear you down, wear the clock down, but they're not that good. They can't have explosive plays like Alabama can. Ryan Williams at wide receiver is a freaking he's bombshell. Then the other guy they got is his name Burleson or Benson? Burleson, right?
They got a Bernard.
Bernard, that's him. Bernard, he's a beast.
Yeah,
He's made some crazy plays. We had the highlights from a
no,
couple
he's
of weeks
good.
ago from Alabama, and he made one of the best catches I've
Washington
seen all year.
transfer. He came
Yeah,
over with the boy.
and he's one of the few guys that did come over with DeVore, and really, and it's showing that when you trust your coach, I feel like you just go an extra percent, right? You can just go an extra gear when you know your coach is, and you believe your coach is putting you in a position to win. So I really like that out of them, and I really agree with you. How I think there's just going to be a couple more explosive plays that Tennessee's not going to be able to recover from. Last week was such a dog fight with Florida. I mean, we've seen it. No team was giving up an inch, and if Graham Mertz doesn't get hurt in that game, they
I
probably lose, right? So I
think
mean,
I think we win easy, honestly, bro. I'm not even just saying that, but you don't want a freshman quarterback at that moment. It was such a big moment, man, and he just wasn't even ready. Like that wasn't the week he was supposed to be. Wasn't doing the 50-50 thing. He was only supposed to have 2 drives that game,
Yeah.
just to keep him off balance a little bit. And then Mertz injury, yeah, we couldn't throw it. That's why I said we should have went for 2. But either way, we bailed him out. Still a good win, I guess. Anytime you beat a rival, it's a good win. So I guess congrats Tennessee. But I just don't see it carrying over, man.
No,
Look like
I
it's a
don't.
fluky win.
I agree. I agree. I think it kind of reminds me of the Georgia State win over Vandy, right? So we can go over that game a couple days ago. Georgia State and Marshall. This was a really close game coming in. Nobody knew who was going to win, and Marshall blew him out the door. Kind of outplayed him from the start on the field. So 35-20 with Georgia State, and then quick recall as we get into our last 2 games here. Boston College and Virginia Tech. I mean, Boston College and Bill O'Brien having a hard time. It looks like. Really adjusting to the new landscape and stuff. So you will see if
Yeah,
they'll
I
able
was
to.
shout out him though as a coach, man. I seen a post made by Virginia Tech. One of their like equipment manager or something, man. Vince Boston College cleaned the locker rooms. It was better than when they got there, man. Apparently, they said so. I do like Bill O'Brien the way he's coaching up there. You leave things better than the way you got there, and that's what they did, even in the locker room, man. So I know it's his first year, but I think in college football, that's a big little. It's such a small, simple thing, but to get your players to buy in and actually do that, especially after a 21-point loss, they don't want to clean up nothing, man. They're ready to get the hell out of here, go home, but figure out what we did wrong and get better next week. They ain't worried about cleaning up the locker room, but they did anyways. So I like the kids, man, and Bill O'Brien. I think he'll get it turned around in a couple years. But Virginia Tech looked good on offense.
Yeah, they're good. And I think that's a good point to kind of play into the point of culture, right? It's hard to turn a bad culture into a good one and flip over a culture, but it's also maybe even harder to build a culture when there was none at all, right? I
Never a
mean,
culture
Bill
there.
O'Brien's trying to create a culture from scratch. They've never had a culture. I mean, they've had probably like 2 or 3 good players since Matt Ryan, right? I mean, that's 2008.
Yeah, AJ Dillon,
AJ Dillon. I mean, just a couple of skill
Dave
guys here and
Flowers.
there. Yeah, but no blockbuster guys, right? No marquee guys that they've had. So yeah, like you said, that's a great point. I think when you're trying to build a culture, Bill O'Brien was a somebody with Belichick, and he was coached with Saban, and I mean he's coached with everybody, right? So I mean, shout out to Bill O'Brien. I think he will get it done. I think he's a great fit for Boston College, and especially with being in the Northeast and being from up there. So he's got his hands in recruiting up in that area. So, but we'll go ahead and get over here. I mean, the last 2 games, Tennessee, Alabama, we both think Alabama is going to win and pull it out. I think Ryan Williams is going to have a great game. I don't think he'll have a great game as a sense of putting up 180 yards and 10 catches, but I just think he's going to do what he's always done is have big plays, right?
Clutch catches, yeah.
Clutch catches. But which leads us into our game of the week tonight at 7:30 at Austin. It's in Texas. It's going to be big. Kevin Durant's going to be there supposedly. I mean, they're going to have all their alumni there. Texas is, and they're really. I was watching an interview with Coach Steve Sarkisian, head coach of Texas, and man, I think they're ready. They're ready, and I just think this year it's just not Georgia's year, dog. It's not. And I think this is a really good testament of Kirby Smart because he's going to be able to get this team and kind of trick everyone that they are still in contention when I don't think they are. But how you really looking at this game as we're maybe the opinions will change until 7:30. I mean, I don't think. I think we kind of got who we need, and a lot of people are kind of shaky. And if they're going to bet, I would stay away from this game bet and just enjoy the game. But what are you thinking about this game?
I've actually flipped from earlier in the week, man. I was thinking Texas all week, but something about the reason I'm picking Georgia, man. There's a reason that it might be weird to people that don't watch football. I haven't been paying attention lately, but it's the guy on the screen right here on the right. Quinn Ewers is the reason I'm picking against Texas, bro.
Uh-oh.
He hasn't been efficient this year, actually, when he's been on the field. Arch Manning has been. I know he's played worse teams, but his efficiency numbers, he gets scrambled better, all that. Last week, Quinn Ewers did not play good at all, bro. He played terrible against Oklahoma. If he plays the same way he did last week, they lose. They lose this
I
game.
agree.
Oklahoma offense doesn't scare anybody. They have the worst offense in the SEC. So Texas got away with that last week. If he plays like that again, they're losing to Georgia, bro. And another thing is, it's twofold. It's not just all because of him. Also, Kirby's smart. I don't see him losing two. When's the last time he lost 2 big games in a year? Never. Never. He hasn't done it yet, bro. I'm just saying, as a head coach, he hasn't lost 2 big games in a year yet. So until it happens, I can't do it. It's like Nick Saban back when he coached. Until they lose 2 big games in a year, I'm not going to pick against them. I hate him to death, but that's just how it is, man. He's got that coaching thing where you just lean on him when you don't have a true favorite. You just go to get a better coach. Sarkisian ain't proved nothing yet. Yeah, he's got Texas on the right track, definitely. Good year last year, beating Bama, making the playoffs, but they ain't officially back until they win a title to me.
I agree, and I think that is a good point with Kirby Smart. The one thing that I watched with Sarkisian interview yesterday on Pat McAfee show, he said, "Man, with football and with my team, what we teach, we got to choose violence. We choose violence." Like he would, if I didn't watch the interview yesterday, I'd have been maybe piggybacking that. But man, he looks like he's dialed in. He's dialed in. They all got these shirts. The whole Texas team has shirts made up on their dry fit. It says FAFO they had made, right? Just F around and find out. That's what they have on all their every single player. I mean,
Holy cow!
it's little swag shit about that, man,
That's
that
why.
really it plays a part in it, man. And when you can come out the tunnel with a little extra gear off, just maybe a shirt or a slogan or a pregame speech, it does play a part. But with that being said, the real Achilles heel, I think, with Georgia this week is, do you know that there's an F1 Formula One racing event in Austin this weekend? Did you know that?
Okay.
And we know Georgia, they're gonna be running on. They're gonna
Oh,
be
yeah,
driving them
you're right.
cars. Who? How do we know that the F1 didn't give them easy access to those McLarens and those Mercedes? They're not been running them bitches all down the street 200 miles an hour. That's all they do in Georgia is
That's all
getting
they do.
speeding tickets.
That's all they do.
you know, I
They probably
think
race
maybe
each other right now, bro.
maybe the F1 race there is good luck or bad luck. We will see. So, but 7:30, like you said, you're going with Georgia. It's actually surprising me, man. I like the pick. I like the pick. I think this is you could throw the coin toss up. I think with Quinn Ewers having a shaky game coming off of an injury, yeah, that happens. But
That's true. That's true.
it happens. Like it happens coming off an injury. And was I surprised of him having a bad game? Yeah, I was. But it does happen. So I've always liked Quinn Ewers since he was about 18, coming out with the ugly mullet he had, the
Yeah,
frosted
you
mullet. It
didn't
was
like it. You
horrible
liked
looking. He's ugly, but he's a great quarterback, man. I think crazy prediction. I think he'll be better than Trevor Lawrence, in the pros for sure. So give
Oh
me,
yeah, that ain't
yeah.
saying too much, honestly.
No, it's not too crazy as you kind of look into it. But yeah, I'll go ahead and give me Texas, man. It is going to be a great game. I think Sarkeesian's really just he's got them boys locked in. I'm not saying Kirby Smart doesn't, because Kirby Smart coaches harder than anyone in the country, and he's one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the country. But I don't think he really has as much lemons as he has in the past, right? And he just doesn't have as much to work with. He's got character issues, off the field issues, and you're able to keep that off the field if you got stud NFL players everywhere. But they don't have that this year. They got in it. They have next year. Maybe it'll be like a Georgia team a couple years ago, but I just don't think they have those 8 Philadelphia Eagles on their team. They don't have they just don't have those guys who are like, yeah, they're good. We don't know where they're going to get drafted. They're going to get drafted, but in the past couple of years, we're like, bro, they got 8 first rounders. Like,
No, for sure, for
we
sure.
just, but you can't have that every year. So
Even
you can't.
Bama didn't have it every year. Even they were good. They had 1 or 2 down years with freaking Jake Coker at quarterback.
Jay Coker quarterback. I know I hate Jay Coker. God, dude, why did they?
He won
I
a
don't
title.
know. Who was their coordinator in Coker? Was that maybe
He won a title that year.
Kiffin, right? Lane Kiffin was on that staff.
Probably.
I think Lane Kiffin was on that staff, and then didn't I think Lane Kiffin got fired during during the playoffs, right? He was kind of poaching and coaching other jobs, but
Oh yeah, I think that's yeah. He was talking to other people.
and maybe we'll see Lane Kiffin at a different spot next year, which will bring us into our next topic. While we just got over with our game of the week, we do have our coaching hot seat right now. We may see some of these teams, flip around, but it kind of plays into part how we've seen teams that we've not used to seeing teams being undefeated. So we have our undefeated teams here pulled up. All these teams are still undefeated. Oregon winning last night, BYU winning last night. Now we were able to see if Penn State going to shake up, is Miami going to shake up, And I mean, we're gonna see. It's getting crazy here. I mean, we thought this list would have been died down a whole lot more, right? I mean, out of we've been able to kind of beaten this list to get to death, but that's just because we thought this was going to change, right? I mean, what are you looking at as in undefeated teams? Because we were both wrong about what Penn State. We both had Penn State losing, and we both had Penn State, and we both had BYU losing. Even though I had BYU money on BYU, we had BYU. I had BYU losing 2 weeks ago.
Last week, yeah.
So yes, or last week. So when they didn't lose last week, I'm like, oh well, they're going to keep this shit rolling. But if you had to pick of one team, well, we already have Indiana winning, and you have Texas losing. So I guess take Texas out of there. Who else do you think can maybe slip up, if anybody?
Today, Miami. We talked about that game already. I said they could lose for sure if they don't play. They got to bring their A game, and then basically the games we highlighted already. IU could lose for sure if Nebraska's defense shows up really, but nobody stopped their offense yet. So I don't think Indiana loses until they play Ohio State. I don't think they can beat them. But I hope I'm wrong. There's these teams should win today. There's a couple buys on here. I know
Yeah,
Penn State's got a buy. And
yeah.
who does Pitt got? Does Pitt play today?
Let's see. I don't. I thought they have a week game next year or next week, but looks
They're
like they
off
have
today.
Syracuse and Pitt October 24th. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's going to be a midweek game. It looks
Pitt's off
like.
today, and then
Yeah, it's
Iowa
gonna be a
State
Thursday
and
night
Florida.
game.
Iowa State ain't gonna lose either. Central Florida's looked terrible the past 3 weeks.
I know they're
They were
done.
supposed to be the best.
Gus Malzahn's a fraud, bro. And
Oh my god,
I
yeah,
mean, if they would have lost a couple other games, we maybe would have him on the hot seat, honestly, because I just think he was a high school coach before he came in, and before he was at Arkansas State, right? When he
yeah,
Arkansas State before Auburn, and then he
yeah.
had who was that big transfer? I think he coached Mike Dyer at Arkansas State, right? I think he was coaching Michael Dyer at Arkansas
Oh no, maybe.
State,
I
but
don't
yeah, because that was
That Butch
Chisholm
Da-
back
it might
at
have been
Auburn.
Butch Davis.
Might have been Butch Davis, but
Yeah, he
man,
coached
yeah,
Arkansas State too.
yeah, because he wasn't in Arkansas State long. But yeah, I mean, out of all these coaches, I would put him on there if they had a couple of losses. But obviously, we have Nape here at Florida, and I think we kind of agreed maybe Mike Norvell will get another year. I know we've seen in the past Florida State's not scared to get that buyout with Willie Taggart in the past. We've seen,
Yeah,
I was able to meet Willie Taggart when he was at Western Kentucky, and good coach, but he just wasn't able to get it done in Oregon and Florida State. But he was able to get some fat pockets walking away out the door. So I got Mac Brown on here, and we also got Hugh Freeze and Trent Dilfer. I mean, out of all these teams here, do you think besides Florida State, I mean, do you think Mac Brown returns for another year, or what? Do you think he's done?
I think he already said this was his last year.
He retired mid-year. He retired after a game, and then all of a sudden he unretired. So and then I kind of mentioned last stream he unretired anyway. Coming in back to coaching because
Oh,
he
that's what
retired.
happened.
Yeah, because he unretired and he was working for like the networks, and then all of a sudden he
Yeah,
accepted the North Carolina job.
yeah, I remember that now. But I think he might be done. He's old as hell, bro. He just seems he's old as hell, man. Um,
Yeah,
hang him
I
up,
know.
bro. Just move
Hang him
on.
up, man. Go enjoy the rest of your life. I know with a lot of career guys, it's hard to find the next thing after football for them, but go ahead and just live your life, man.
Just go visit, go travel, man. Like, do something.
Yes. Yeah, they just only know football. It's wild. But I think another coach that'll be just doing some traveling here soon will be Hugh Freeze and Trent Dilfer. I think Auburn's going to they're going to try and make a big splash. I think Auburn and Florida are going to be a crap shooting on who makes the biggest hire this offseason. That's my opinion.
I like that prediction. Yeah, two SEC schools, of course, that need to win. Need to win.
It's going to be a bidding war for them with them, and I think we could maybe see them going after the same guy, whoever that may be. Is it Lane? I think I'm a little bit more shaky on Lane than I have been in the past,
Oh yeah.
but I do think that it's all about the fit there, right? I mean, I think it's about the fit and obviously players you have coming in. So speaking of players that we have coming in, these are the top recruiting ranks coming in. If you see there, the first player there at the top is Tavian St. Clair, second quarterback in the nation going into Ohio State. Me and Dalton was able to cover Tavian at the Elite 11 in Columbus. was able to kind of see if this guy lives up to the hype of, being the number 2 quarterback in the nation. And, it looks like he is. I mean, he's a big body, and we've seen all the other Ohio State quarterbacks in there kind of scouting him out, seeing what if they need to make a move in the future. But out of all these teams, I mean, with Auburn looking like they're going to get a new head coach at 4 in the recruiting ranks, it really hasn't. Hugh Freeze can recruit, man. He can't maybe coach, and he's maybe not a great guy. You want leading your young guys off the field with some of the issues he's had, but he can still get guys in the door, it looks like. So one thing I want to look at, and I want to get your thoughts on, Dalton, is we see at the very bottom is Ole Miss at 25, right? And then you see Rutgers and SMU above them, which is we've never really seen that. So shout out to NIL. But is that a sign that Lane is out the door?
I mean, that is bad, but he's never really had great recruiting classes at Ole Miss. He relies a lot on the transfer portal. Transfer
Yeah,
portal and his recruiting class is basically, they count as one to me. It's just one
yeah,
big recruiting class. So really, if you count that in, they'll probably end up around 10, man. Because
okay.
they always pull the best transfer portal classes, top 5 in the country every year. So that's how I look at that. Not too big of a deal. SMU ain't gonna hit the portal like that. Neither will Rutgers. They won't get. Ole Miss will get SEC guys in there, starters from other schools. Rutgers and SMU just won't get the same portal guys. So that's where it evens out to me.
Yeah, I like that because, but he's coming in with a portal team. But if you're leaving, you're not going to be able. I just think that there's a chance that he doesn't even hit the portal because he's gone, and Ole Miss is hung high and dry next
That's
year.
a
Like,
bad year next year.
God, I think that's going to be one of those jobs where you think you want it as a coach and it looks good on paper, but it is not a good job, bro. Like, I just don't think it's you got to think with the UK, with Kentucky being only 4 spots ahead of them, that is astronomically a step up as in taking a job as compared to Ole Miss, right? Like, if you were a coach, you just much would rather have the Kentucky job over the Ole Miss, or what would you think?
Oh, in football, yeah, I guess so. You don't have the pressure on you at Kentucky necessarily. You can go six
Right.
and six, 7-5, and you're cool. That should be that, but that's how Ole Miss should be too. They're getting too big for their britches. Their fans are. They're not that. They're
Yeah.
not good, bro. They've never been good. Like, what are you thinking? You're not a good
Yeah.
program.
I know.
You
I
never
think
won
it's
a title or nothing. Like, get that. Shut up.
I know, and there's a bunch of the people like that. It's the SECs because they think they're in the big dogs, that they are a big dog, and I get it, but I think that's maybe a reason why they need to do the super conference, the 70 big team super conference, because that'll kind of wean down and give other these schools some actual chance, and maybe they'll have a reason to be confident in their team because they're not in the SEC no more. It's just one big conference. But one thing I do want to look at here with surprising is kind of Georgia Tech at 17. You never really seen them with a really big recruiting class. I know they've gotten away from the traditional wing tee and then the option that they've ran for so long, and they're looking for a really big game today. I do think they are going to cover. They are without their starting quarterback supposedly coming in. That was kind of broke late last night. The spread went from 10.5 to 14.5.
Haynes King's out.
I think so. Yeah, they said they're going to more than likely be without him. So, but
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
good,
think it
bro.
matters, bro. I don't think it matters. They're facing Notre Dame here today at 3:30. Number 12 Notre Dame, but guess what? It's in Atlanta. It's at Georgia Tech. Notre Dame's not a great road team. I think we just seen even though last night with Oklahoma State, their second string quarterback was their first string quarterback, but he got benched, but he had to come into the game and they just weren't able to run the same offense, right? So I don't think they're going to be able to run the same offense in a good way. They're just going to run the ball. They're just going to run the ball
But their
all
run game ain't that
game.
good, man. It
But
ain't
that's
like
just
they
what they're
got
going
a
to do.
dog back there.
Yeah, but Notre Dame, every time they are only when they can afford to bend, they break. When they can't afford to bend at all, they do bend. And I just think they south bend. They bend south. They bend south and south bend. Market. That is the saying. They bend south. They're not good. When has Notre Dame done anything, dog? They haven't done anything. This coach is horrible. He wears
Because they're,
tight pants. He
because
wears
they
tight
really
pants.
because they're not in a conference, bro. They get to play these all easy ass teams.
Why aren't they in the ACC?
I don't know. They should be in the Big Ten, honestly, because those teams are better. Just put them in the Big Ten. And then we have more exciting football.
I
Let
have
them
a
play Ohio
prediction.
State, Michigan, and let them play Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon every year.
I got a crazy prediction. I want to get your thoughts on it while we sit here and wrap up and get our final finale and our picks of today's games
Oh,
as
yeah,
they're
you're
about
right.
to start.
It's about to start.
Um, yeah, about to start, man. I want to have a question for you. I'm kind of drawing a blank right now since I lost it, but with Notre Dame, Do you think Notre Dame should? Do you think? I think they should go into a conference, right? As we talk about it. But do you think SEC is going to have to look for a newer team if they don't go to the 70 conference to keep up with the Big Ten? Might pass them up soon, bro. Like, yes, they will. With Oregon coming in, and
Okay,
you
look,
got
let's
USC coming in,
stop
and
right there for a second.
UCLA.
Look at the top 10 of this recruiting board. You see
Yeah,
two through eight, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all SEC schools, and then Missouri at 16. So that's 7 SEC, 8, 9, 10 SEC schools in the top 25 recruiting, and they ain't even got. We ain't even on there. We ain't even
you're
on
right.
there.
You're
That's
right,
all I'm
bro. But
saying.
it's not
I don't.
about
I don't
that.
think the Big Ten will ever catch us officially, but they're getting a lot. It's a lot. It's a hell of a lot better than they have been the past 3 years. I'll tell you that.
It's a
Hell of
lot
a lot better.
closer. You're right. Maybe I'm jumping the gun on that, but yeah, you're right. But we'll go ahead and see this recruiting ranks are definitely going to change going into the year. Obviously, you got transfer portal coming in, when bowl season rolls around. But with a couple of these other teams that would normally be out of the playoff and they're going to be almost in or something, they're not going to have guys enter the portal in as early, as soon as the conference championship ends.
Yeah,
And it sounds like, well, why? What does it matter that they're entering the portal 3 weeks later than they would? Well, it does matter because coaches change and people get their team together. It's quick.
definitely
One thing
matter.
about one thing about recruiting is I want to bring up with recruiting classes in 2025, right? When we played back in the day, you pretty much you had all the way up until February to get your offers but now all these teams are already out of their offers because they're waiting for portal guys.
Yeah,
I seen a coach the other day saying, drop your film. We're out of offers for 25, but you never know what could happen. I'm just like, holy shit, dude, you are horrible. Like
that's
you're a dog.
wild.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. And I'm like, you're already out of scholarships and it's October. Like,
Yeah, that's
I don't
weird.
know, bro. Like, and that's what kind of brought me up into kind of rant I went on our Twitter. But do coaches get in the freaking car anymore and go recruit? Like, I remember when our season ended, we had coaches in our right after the season, right? Because their season's over, our season's over. But you can't get into your car and go visit a high school like you normally could as the off season. I know Nick Saban and them did it. They would fly in and fly out. But when you're trying to hit a recruiting trail, when you're hitting 2, 3 schools in a day, it usually happens in the off season. But it's not going to happen as much as because they just don't have as many offers anymore. I think they're going to expand the how many players they have on the team, or they're just going to maybe change how many times you can transfer, right? So, but with that being said, like I said, it is going to change with recruiting. But we'll go ahead and tail our 6 picks here. Rapid fire. I mean, out of all these 6 games, I think we've picked another great 6. What are you really seeing out of these games? What are you looking for in a totality of today? From just offense and defense standpoint.
I'm looking for a lot of close games. These 5 games. I think all these games come down to the wire, and I think most of them are actually defensive battles, except the 2 SEC games, which is it's funny how the SEC is still the best, but they've kind of changed the way they playing style. It used to be defensive first, and now you got a lot of explosive offenses there, kind of adapting with the times.
Yep.
So you love to see that. But yeah, man, that's all I'm looking for is the close games. I hope we get some real dramatic finishes, and hope you win your bets.
Oh my gosh, man. It's been such a stressful week with betting. I have Miami and who else have I got Miami and Bama, right? Man, last night I had BYU obviously and they saved me. I mean, we have game of the week here. I couldn't bet on this game. A couple of the games that I wanted to bet on and I stood away from, I ended up being right about with Marshall and what was the other one that I was really scared about during the week? It was Marshall and WKU. I was really scared about them. I thought they were going to win, and they did. They actually played very well.
MKU look
So
good.
yeah, I mean, I'd rather be scared and right than actually put the bet in and lost. So yeah, I do think we have a lot of great games in store for us today. Like you said, I think there's going to be some close games. Yeah, dramatic finishes. I'd say out of all these games, I think Georgia and Texas is going to have a dramatic finish. I think Alabama and Tennessee, as well as Miami and Louisville. So I think we have 3 games that are. I think Indiana and Nebraska can come down to like the last quarter, last half quarter, but the last who knows. But that could also be another one where it's down to the last minute, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's gonna be so fun. I cannot wait. I mean, you got anything special you're eating today while you're watching games? Anything that you're wanting to munch on?
Oh man, I'm gonna golf scramble here in a little bit, and then it's got the Florida game after that. So I got a full day ahead. Really, gotta get up early Sunday. So I got a full
Gotcha.
day, but I'm gonna get something to eat. So I don't know though. What are you thinking? What are you doing today, man?
Man, I
You
don't know. It
watching the game?
sounds good, bro. I don't know. It sounds good. I kind of want some like, you know what's been sounding good? I want a taco bar. I want to get like some people got to do like a taco bar, watch a game. You
Hell
know,
yeah,
when's the last time you did like a taco bar? Go up to the build your own taco and shit. Uh, I
yeah.
think that'd
I
be
like that idea.
fun. Yeah, I think I guess maybe late night. If I win my bets tonight, I might do a little taco or some taco night for the late night games. But yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna sit back. But it's my mom's birthday today, so shout out Debbie. Gonna go see her in just a second as
Oh
I
yeah,
sweat these bets. But yeah, other than that, man, like I said, I'm on the same boat with you. You ready to rock and ready to get into it. But hopefully you do good on your golf scramble. Let me know what you shoot, and get the dub, gent. Get the dub.
man. Been playing good lately, guys. Hopefully, keep it up. It was a last minute thing. Somebody dropped out, asked me to play because they knew I was my baller. So hopefully, I can prove them right. Hopefully, I prove them right. I played yesterday for practice. We looked pretty good. Drivers were driving, putts putting. So yeah,
Okay.
let's have a day out here, man. Everybody enjoy their games. I'll enjoy mine, and we'll see y'all soon.
All right, perfect, man. I think it's a perfect way to end it here, and we'll go ahead and let you go. It's 12 o'clock. Games are about to start kicking off. Everybody have a good weekend. We will be back Monday for our full review, NCAA college and NFL. Very excited for it. You all have a great day. Hope your teams win. Hope your bets win. Help somebody, and happy birthday, Mom. You all have a great one.
Yeah, happy birthday, Debbie. See y'all.
See ya.